Hi everyone, welcome back to Looking Local. We had the opportunity just recently to sit down with Mike Davis of Davis Built Homes, and he is a craftsman of craftsmen. You'll find that when you learn more about them and their capabilities, Mike can take your vision of a backyard space and bring it into reality. We hope you enjoy this. Mike, again, thanks for coming in and visiting with us a little bit and giving us the opportunity. I mean, you and I have talked a little bit over the last several months, but and baseball will hold us together forever. But you know, there's some things that you do that you've done and that kind of led you to what you're doing now that I think are incredibly interesting, and so. I'd like to explore that if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked baseball. We're kind of beyond that now. You said that you made a decision to kind of go into. You took a job, maybe overseas. Talk
Yes.
a little bit about that. And how old were you at that time?
22.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the summer after baseball, and I got a call from the dean of school at PLU, actually, and so I got this great opportunity for a company out of Finland, and they're looking for a sales engineer, and thought you might be a good fit for that. And so this was like in October after I graduated, and
Sure.
playing the summer of baseball with the M's, and then it was like, okay, sounds like this might be a career change. This might be real life. So October 15th, I interviewed, and got this job, and about a month later sent me overseas to Finland for training.
Wow.
And so, and it was a pharmaceutical biotech manufacturing company.
Okay.
So I started out young, small company. You know, at that time there was 4 or 5 employees, and I stayed there for about 22 years. And at the end, I was president CEO of that company, working with 4 different manufacturers out of Denmark, Czechoslovakia, Germany, Austria, and Finland. And we were importing, exporting equipment, and then started a manufacturing plant in Maltby after about 10 years.
Wow.
And, so
Was the Maltby plant, was that just coincidental having come?
no, we decided we were importing, and then we decided that we would start the manufacturing of the product we were importing and started building them here.
Wow.
So taking that on and then working with the pharmaceutical biotech industry. So,
Which has really grown up here in the last several decades.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this, you know, as far as the biotech companies, the West Coast and Seattle.
Yeah. So, as a custom builder, that's a departure.
It is. Yeah. So after being in that industry, actually, I was a minority owner of that company.
Sure.
It was sold to a German manufacturer, so
Okay.
I had 3 years working with them before they took the company, everything back to Germany, and I had a year sabbatical that I kind of looked and what did I want to do for my next stage of life.
Sure.
And I enjoyed the manufacturing part of it, running a business, and thought, I really like working with my hands.
Yeah.
I like building things I would do on the side.
Sure.
And
Sure.
my dad was always somebody that was always adding on, doing things on his home and for friends. And so I searched out some of the larger quality manufacturers in this Seattle area.
Sure.
Talked to them. I was like trying to be a sponge. How do they get into it? How do they build their business?
Yeah.
And I actually worked for a company for about 4 years on helping them run their business, because a lot of the guys that started that were framers and in the trades, but maybe didn't necessarily know how to run a business, or they didn't know
Sure.
whether they were making profits or not. And so I was able to come in and sponge off of that and just learn that industry before starting my own business.
Yeah. You know, it's really common in that entrepreneurial journey. You're good at something or you like doing something, so you begin to do that, and you get a client here, you get a client there, but at some point, if you're good, even if you're good at what you do, that does not necessarily mean you're in business. You're in business, but are you in business? Do you have a business? Are you running? Are you growing? Are you scaling a business? Talk a little bit about that, what you found.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I actually started my business in 2008, which was during the downfall. Everybody was going, out of business.
Sure.
And I'm, starting my own business at that point. And my wife was a big supporter. She works for United Airlines, and it was like, okay. She said, "Yeah, let's leap of faith. Let's do this. Something you want to do."
Sure.
And so, part of that was I did have some good referrals and relationships in that industry of some high-profile people that kind of helped me, make it through that stage. And so it only takes a few jobs, even in the rough times, to weather through it. And so just kind of being, smart and not stretching yourself too far, and was able to make it to start a business in 2008 as a home builder.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk a little bit about how you guys met, where you met. Give us a little background, because I know there's some kids there too.
Yeah.
And so much of our lives are influenced by our families, right? And share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I met Heidi at PLU. I was playing baseball there.
Sure.
And she was a cheerleader, and we dated there for a couple of years during college. And it was kind of interesting, as I was kind of like, okay, I have to focus on my baseball side of the career, and we kind of went separate ways for a few years.
Sure.
And probably 5-6 years after we graduated from college, we always had kept in touch.
Sure.
And I kind of chased her down, and so it's been 37 years since that time.
You chased her until she caught you, right?
Yes, that's it. And so 37 years later, 4 kids. I have 3 boys and a daughter, and and that's my life.
Yeah.
So that's everything I do is based around that.
Really changes the focus, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So she supported this transition to a career in construction, and running a business and building a construction company, custom home building. Talk a little bit about kind of the range. I know you've built some custom homes. I've seen some beautiful examples of your work, but talk about that a little bit, and then how that's transitioned into what you really like to focus on now.
Yeah, I think the whole building concept of that, I always liked starting, kind of getting into the head of my clients as to what they, their dream, what did they want to see, and try to help build that, and to bring some new ideas to what what they were thinking was the house that they wanted.
Sure.
And part of that was looking at what stage in life they are right now. And they could be a young couple and not have kids, and then but to look at building their home so that 5, 6, 7 years now when they have kids, or their kids are in high school and they need separate rooms, they want to have space.
Sure.
To think ahead of that, or do they like entertaining? And so that because a lot of times the biggest investment someone's going to make, right? And,
without a doubt.
And in some cases it could be a really tough experience. It could be lots of stress on the relationships. And so I kind of enjoy getting into their heads, making it a fun experience, letting them, in the end up with a product that they, can be excited about. And my end goal is to get them to be a repeat customer, or to refer me on to somebody else. And so that's, I always liked it from the ground up.
Yeah.
But then it kind of also spread to people wanting, a few remodels or additions to their homes.
Sure.
And because it got so expensive to,
Yeah.
maybe to sell and move, so they just started adding on.
Yeah.
And so I kind of got into the building outdoor covered areas for people as well.
Sure. And probably for people you'd done work for before.
Yes, in a lot of cases. I mean, it's interesting that in some cases, it's maybe the parents. Now I'm building for their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's their cousins, or it's their friends,
Sure.
and that's probably the biggest thing I'm proud of is that it's probably the referrals that I get from people for their family to come back in and build for someone that they know that they would pass my name on.
You bet. Yeah, no better result than someone wanting you to come back and do work for them again, but even more so telling their family and friends about you.
It's probably the best advertising, right?
Yeah.
The best marketing right
Yeah,
there.
without
You
a
go
doubt.
in, already have someone that they know that you've been trusted. And
Yep.
And so that sometimes home builders, it's like mechanics, can get a bad rap. People go, oh, it's just the most stressful. It was a horrible experience. And
Yeah.
my take is, it's I want it to be a fun
Yeah.
experience, and I enjoy it. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I enjoy it.
By someone just choosing to have a project like that done, they're already, financially capable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it, or is there something that really causes it to kind of go off the rails? Is it a collision of wants and the capital available? Is it disagreements? What kind of lends itself to some of those tougher situations?
I think usually it's trying to keep people within their own budget.
Sure.
And so in most cases, I tell them everybody has a budget.
Yep.
I mean, whether you're building a $600,000 home or a $5 million home, everybody has a budget.
Yeah.
And it's up to me to manage that and expectations, but also that I know that they, want to get the most out of
Sure.
the money that they
Sure.
have in it. And so I think communication is a big thing, letting them know if something comes up that maybe it's a hidden cost that might pop up, or it's the difference of opinions between a husband and a wife where they're looking at it and
That never happens.
It's like the husband is more interested in the wires that go behind the
Sure.
walls, and the wife it's the eye candy, what's out front.
Sure.
And so a lot of times I'm put in almost as a counselor, like, okay, hey, Mike, can you take my side on this? Or, I get a call separately, hey, can you talk to husband about maybe, this is kind of important in the long, better for resale, better for family. And
Sure.
so I try to stay out of picking sides,
Yeah.
but giving them the options on both that to support them in that.
Yeah.
But there's so many decisions that go on, and people look
course.
at it. It's not just the colors of the house. I mean, you're picking colors of the hinges that you want, or the faucets, and
Sure.
it just, small items that come up.
Yeah.
And at the end, most people go, I didn't realize there's, a million decisions we have to make.
You bet. Yeah.
So trying to
So
help them.
Yeah, the probably just the feeling being overwhelmed once you get into some
Yes.
of that.
Yeah.
So, where are some of the biggest benefits for a couple who's maybe looking at doing an update on their home? We all know kitchens and bath. That makes perfect
Yes.
sense, right?
Yeah.
But where are some other areas that are really places where an investment can pay off, depending upon a couple's plans?
Yeah, I'd say that for a lot of people, it depends. There's a lot of people working from home now too, and so
Sure.
it's looking, maybe they want a home office, or they want, now it's a stage of life, they want to have some place to work out, exercise. So it's an exercise room on that,
Sure.
or it's an outdoor area where they're looking at, we want to extend the inside out, and someplace where in the Northwest here that you can't count, it's a Memorial Day weekend, you got a birthday party, you got all these kids coming over, you think you're going to be outside and it rains. So now,
Imagine that.
so to have a place that's that maybe 26 by 24
Sure.
square foot heated outdoor, where you can be outside but you're still covered, and you don't have to have everybody inside the house.
You bet.
So those are kind of no-brainers for a lot of people. They look at, and I've always wondered why homes, even the spec homes, they don't put those in as a selling point initially.
Oh.
I mean, it's added square footage that's not heated, but it's, I mean, it can be heated with infrared heaters, but I think it's a selling point, especially here in the Northwest.
Like, you got a young couple comes to you, relatively newly married, and they got jobs here, want to live here, want to raise a family here. What would you recommend to them?
As far as the type of home, or
Yeah, I mean, they're going to stay here.
Yeah.
Want to grow a family here. How do they get started? I mean, the cost of living, the cost of housing here in the Northwest is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Especially here in the Sound area. And we've seen it creep up from, Bellevue, Kirkland into the north end of the Sound. So, your own kids, what would you advise them to do?
Yeah, I think you have to get into the game, and that's the tough part.
Sure.
And I have my own kids, it's the same thing. I mean, the cost of getting into, having a mortgage and getting a home is so expensive in the Northwest. Is to to get in and start if you can. I mean, obviously you got to save some money for some sort of a down payment or whatever, but if you can get in, and it may not be your dream house, it's just, you've got a place you're building some equity in. Because once you're there and you got the appreciation of it, then now you're in the game.
Got some options.
And then you can sell that and take the profits and put it into the next house. So it may not be your actual dream house in the end that you want, but you got to, stepping stones to get there.
Of course. I was just talking with someone yesterday about maybe starting in a condo, and I hadn't really thought about condos, but it's a place to start, right?
Yeah, no, it is, and I always, I was kind of against that when I was looking myself before, just as a starting out, But I think in some cases, it makes a lot of sense for people because that's the one that you can't afford. Yeah. But rather than paying rent, you've got some equity there, and it's more common now.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And you're not paying for all the real estate, around it. So.
Yeah, you bet. So we talked a little bit about you and a little bit about your career. Yeah. You went from manufacturing and biotech to custom home building, and now outdoor spaces, really focusing on that. Yeah. What is what was the catalyst that really kind of catapulted you from biotech and manufacturing into home building? What was the moment that kind of led to that?
I think I enjoyed running a business before and taking it to a level, starting out with 5 employees going to like 45 and then having to report to a larger company in Germany when we were sold. But my passion was not necessarily the product in that. It was it was just the building of the business and the company. And the thing I really enjoyed always through that time was picking up Architectural Digest or a magazine, going to open houses, looking at how things were built. And when I took that kind of a year in between leaving the manufacturer, we sold it. Was okay. What's my passion? What's my industry that I would like to go into? I looked into landscaping too because I like to work with my hands. But building always intrigued me, and so I thought, I knew if I want to be good at this, I need to go in and talk to people that are successful in it. So I hit 5 or 6 different home builders in the area that were high-end quality builders, and asked them for a cup of coffee and to share some of their insights. And so that's kind of how I got into that. And I said, this is what I want to get into. And so I asked a lot of questions and had saved some money that I could kind of venture into this, knowing that you can't start a business. My background was a school of business and marketing, and a lot of businesses fail in that first year. If you can make it through the third year,
Yep.
you know, and so that's important. And I had the support of my wife saying, "Hey, let's, you know, I love how excited you get about this. Let's do it."
You
and
bet.
So,
You bet.
know, and you need that. You need a good partner that can support you to,
Yeah.
you know, jump into something new. And
Yeah.
for me, it's never been a day of work. I mean, I tell my kids it's the same thing. It's like, I mean, I never really looked at that as to a date of retiring or something, because it's
Right.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Every day is a little in the construction home, but every day is a little different. So.
You bet, without a doubt. Talk about the first project. Now you're a builder. You jumped in. How did that come about? And then talk about that first project.
Yeah, it came from basically from a lead of a referral from somebody who had done some work for,
Okay.
and wanted me to remodel a house, basically in Richmond Beach area, Ennis Arden, and so they just started with this conversation, and I think it's we just got along really well. Even before we started about what the project was, or the cost or anything else, it's kind of we just kind of hit it, you know, and felt comfortable with each other, and there's a trust, and it's always a relationship, you know, because you're going to be with these
Big
people
time.
for, if it's a small remodel, maybe it's 3 to 6 months. I mean, but
Yeah.
on a large build,
Yeah.
it can be 18 months to a year by the time you get permits and drawings.
Sure.
So but the first project was, spending a lot of time with them, and I enjoy being on the job. So it's, you know, that's kind of the fun part. Right?
And so this was a remodel,
Yes.
right? Kitchen, bath.
No, kind of it was kitchen, bath. It was actually all the millwork, you know, gutting the floors, putting new
sure.
floors in,
Sure.
new windows throughout the house. And
Yeah.
it was overlooking the sound, and so it was kind of a big, it was a big project for me to undertake
Yeah.
on that, and the trust in that. But I had good relations in the industry of people that I could pull on and
Sure.
and draw from.
Yeah.
So,
You know, there's at least a couple years ago, maybe a year ago or so, there was a period where, boy, pricing for materials was all over the board. And it seemed like, you know, they've got a budget, but boy, there better be some flexibility in that budget based on when materials are actually
Yeah.
ordered. When you have some things going on in the industry that are out of your control, how do you help your client understand that so the project can move forward even though there's this element of uncertainty?
yeah, there's a couple different ways of how contracts are structured. So sometimes
Yeah.
there's fixed pricing, and sometimes there's cost plus type pricing.
Sure.
And so all builders out there are going to make some sort of a profit in
Of
their
course.
job.
Oh,
And
my goodness, yeah.
If you're doing a fixed cost, a lot of them will have to build in for that. So you buy, if it's 6 months from now and you've priced a project and you want the lumber, well, 6 months lumber prices go up, or there's tariffs on something. You
Sure,
have no
sure.
idea how it's going to affect. So either as a builder, you have to build in some excess to, you know, a buffer. Maybe it's 5% or something you have to put in
Sure.
into that if you're going to take the risk. Or on the other side of it, you can let the customer know they can take that too. They could say, hey, here's what the cost is. Here's what we've the bid that we have. But if things change, if it goes down, you can have the benefit. If it goes up, you have to cover the difference in the cost.
Yeah.
But somebody has to cover it.
Sure. Sure.
But you know, letting people know that is a reality out there, and to be as transparent, you know, with them. And I've just found it's been a good system for me to kind
Yeah.
of be very open with invoices and that with clients. And here's what the cost of the house. Here's the profit that I look to make on the
Sure,
job.
sure.
And I think it's, you know, once you realize that, okay, you are building this and you're intending to make a profit on it.
Yeah.
It's got to be a fair and reasonable
Absolutely.
amount.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that can put a lot of businesses, you know, out of business. A lot of builders, if they're on the spec side of it,
Yeah.
and they built this in, all of a sudden they can't sell it for what they built it for,
Yeah.
and then they go out of business. So,
Yeah.
I think very cautious of what you're, and not trying to make a, hit a home run and make a lot on one project.
Sure.
I just kind of rather just be steady with it, and here's the margins I expect to make, and it's always worked well that way for me.
Love that. You've mentioned that you've talked, as you were looking at building and construction and especially the custom side, you interviewed, you talked to, you really sought the advice and mentorship from people who are already doing it, right?
Yeah.
To gain some insight into it that you didn't already know. If you had the opportunity to spend 30 minutes with anybody, who would it be? Now that you got a few years on you.
Yeah,
right?
For me, I'd say I like the entrepreneurial spirit, and
Sure.
so for me, it's probably looking at someone that has started something from nothing and how they've gone through it. I'd recently had kind of read a book, The Shoe Dog. It's Phil Knight and Nike, and it was something like that. And to start from scratch, knowing the heartaches someone has taken and to stick through it, and I think sitting down with somebody and what kept them going through that, and even when, they're hardly making things meet the end as far as cost, and then being able to take it in the end to a company like that, and you go, okay, wow, that's pretty incredible, from selling shoes out of the back of your back of your car, when nobody else is kind of believing you, and spending all your money that you've got down to the last dime, and to have that, not being afraid to, I guess, the fear of failure, and taking that risk. I think that's...
Well, and Phil Knight changed, I say changed, maybe created an industry, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and took the step of kind of doing sponsors, actually hiring athletes and that, and paying them a lot of money, and then finding success when nobody really thought that was a way to go. So, so looking outside the box, finding a different direction on that. I mean, even on the home building side of it, it's like, okay, you can take something from a different industry.
Yes.
And I found that from the pharmaceutical to construction, much more regulated. Anything that you're going to put a drug into your body is highly regulated. And when I got into this industry, it was interesting how, it's seat of your pants. You guys are out there, drawings are not changed. I mean, everything was completely documented.
Sure.
And so I think I've found that's kind of interesting to bring that level into what I do, building that there's check and balances with it.
Sure.
So
and probably some real clear benefits for your clients.
Yes. Yeah. Something that's not typical for this industry.
Yeah.
And it's getting more that way now because you're regulated by, all the inspections in the cities that you're working in, but it never used to be that.
Yeah. I love that. So we talked about your wife a little bit and how you guys met and the support that she's provided to you. Yeah. Talk about your kids. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, I've got 4 kids, boy, girl, boy, all 4 of them within 5.5 years. So we packed them in, and we kind of, I'd say that whole process of the family was something we just treasured and enjoyed. And so, and they're all in different industries and that. I've got a couple in the airline industry, and one son that's in home building as well, another one that's a startup business. So but they're all successful, and they're all super close with each other, and I think that's, for us, that was our end goal, was that they would grow up and they're best friends right now at any time. So
what a blessing that is, right?
Yeah.
Are the kids close? Are they local?
Yeah, unfortunately, they're all over the place. So my wife and I wanted them to all be in Snohomish. We still hope that's the case.
Sure.
We had 2 in New York for a while. I got one back here now. One's still in New York. My daughter's in is in kind of Nashville, based out of Seattle for
Okay.
Delta Airlines, and then my
Okay.
other son is here in Marysville. So,
Oh,
so I
great.
got one real close that we
Yeah.
see every Sunday. We do
Sure.
dinner, and
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. No, we're the same. We've got 5 in a 10-year span, and having those that are close is wonderful. I too have a daughter in New York,
so
and so anyway, it's good stuff.
yeah.
What advice would you give to an 18-year-old yourself? Anything you'd do differently?
Hmm. You know, as I look at that and think about it, I'm pretty happy with the choices of things I've done along the way, where I don't have any regrets. But the one thing I would say is probably to not have any fear of failure, taking more risk, because I think you can take more risk than you think.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty conservative that along the way. And sometimes I think you can have even greater success by, not worried about what other people are think or what direction you want to go. And I don't think it's about that climbing that corporate ladder. I mean, I had done that at one point, and that my most enjoyment has probably been the flexibility in schedules and time that I have with my own business and scheduled around, so that not looking to retirement or the end of time where, hey, I put this 35 years in and now I can enjoy it. It's like to make sure you're enjoying it all on the way. And I think we've done that kind of, maybe we've sacrificed in the end on savings and different things, because we said, you know what, we're not going to wait till we're 65 and to start traveling, and that we're going to do it along the way. And so we'll make some sacrifices, and we'll do things with the kids, and we're going to see the world and have experiences, and then we will work a little longer.
Yeah, you bet.
And so you better work at something that you want to do. But I think the other part of things that I tell myself is, about just being kind and generous, and stuff that I've taken from my dad on that passed away like 7 years ago, but still probably one of my greatest role models. And that he's somebody that was always supporting me and our grandkids or his grandkids, and just wanting to do things for others. And so he was one that if I could live life like he did, I'd be very, and I'd like him to be able to look back down and say, gosh, that, hey, you've done good.
There
your
we
kids
go.
done good. And so
good stuff.
that's my, that's what I hope in the end. But,
well done. That's neat. What's the future for Davis Built Homes?
It's a good question. I think it's going to, for me, I still look at, there's that goal of retiring is probably out there a little bit, that I'd still kind of consider doing this in the next few years. Hopefully I've grown the business. Somebody else, might want to jump into that. If one of my kids had an interest in that, that'd be great. But it's got to be something that somebody really wants to do. It's got to be their driving interest and to take on a business. Wouldn't want someone to jump into that if it's not, their heart's not in it. I'd rather have them chase their dreams and what they want to get up and do every day.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it? Yeah. Well, thanks so much for the time.
Yeah.
It is so, it's such a lot of fun to have people that we've met and crossed paths with come in, sit down, and capture a little bit of what drives them, what motivates them, what inspires them, because it's the result of those things that make that contribute to their what they give to the community, and I think you're an awesome reflection of that. So thanks for coming
Oh.
in and spending a few minutes with us, Mike.
Thanks, I've enjoyed it. It's kind of been fun having a reflection, looking back at things and kind of looking to the future as well, and makes me think about it. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thanks.
I love it. Appreciate you very much.